Out of all the brands, other than personally for Yoji, that you've been associated with, is Helmut Lang. That's the one that sticks with me most. Is that a fair comment?
I think I did his first show maybe in Paris, and then going to the fitting, Melanie Ward, Helmut Lang, we would just be so happy to see each other every season, and very accepted for who we were as people. They just took me for who I was, really, and I just felt it was so natural and easy.
Do you think by then he recognised, because when you're first starting off, you're just a new face, if you want. Nobody knows quite who you are with.
Right.
But by then you'd established yourself a bit, who your personality had come through. He recognised your personality and promoted that rather than just promoting a kind of, it was about Kirsten Owen, it wasn't just about how you looked.
At the time I just thought I was just like one of the models, but I learned that it was more than that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you have the crown. Where you become the kind of the queen of Helmut Lang, or you became to symbolise the brand more than anything else, which I think is kind of super exciting and important and all those sorts of things, because it does in some ways sort of show that it's more than just the sort of, the look. It's actually about the attitude and the person, etc., etc. Have you found it frustrating in the business or empowering in the business? Which do you feel most of throughout the sort of years you've been modelling? Do you feel more empowered by it or more sort of frustrated by it? Empowered. Good. Because I was sort of constructed you as part of the Yoji family or Yoji film or whatever you want to call it. So when you appeared in Helmut Lang, it was like a different version of you. And I said to you right at the beginning, I was a little bit jealous. I felt a little bit sort of, ooh, that's didn't see that in her. Didn't get that. I think the Helmut Lang communication, if you want the images, allowed us to see you a bit more. Does that feel correct? That's less romantic and just another part of myself, I guess. Yeah. Did you show in New York? The first shows were in Paris, and then I guess it went to New York. I can't remember. Do you remember the music? Yeah, I do. Do you want to tell me what it is? It was sort of, I don't know what it was. It was electronic, sort of Berlin underground. The guy, his name was Flesch from Belgium. Henri Flesch. Henri Flesch, I know Henri Flesch. Beautiful looking man. I believe that he was doing the music, but then it became Fred who started doing it. Frédéric Sanchez? Yeah. Yeah, right. Those, I guess, DJs that would make like Frédéric Sanchez or Henri Flesch, I always thought were really important. That's why I wanted to start a series on SHOWstudio called Fashion Radio. Oh wow, really? Yeah, I mean, it's in its infancy. We've done 2 or 3 seasons as a podcast at the moment. But it is those guys and girls, like Honey Dijon, that make kind of the soundtrack of fashion. It's what gets played on the runway, and also, of course, when you go into the boutiques. It's the same people who, because they don't play anything when they go. When you go into a Helmut Lang boutique or a Prada boutique or a Raf Simons boutique or whatever it is, that soundtrack's been very carefully chosen. So I got really interested in all of that. That is really interesting. Also to find out, because what it was that the models listened to, what is the photographers play, and all that sort of thing. So the whole sound of fashion becomes very important. Were you in the Yoji show where they put bells around your ankles? No, I wasn't. But I think I was in a Yoji show that didn't have the music and just had the footsteps. Right. I think that happened in Yoji. I think it also happened in a Dries show. The Yoji did it when he put kind of metal bells around the girls' ankles. Oh, really? That's the sound of walking. But do you remember back in the 80s, the catwalk photographers were quite a tough lot. Yeah. And they weren't very prone to entering into the mood of things. Did you ever interact with those guys? They yelled at me, because why did they yell at you? Because I didn't stop and wait long enough at the end of the catwalk. Right. Because at that time it was all about holding a pose at the end of the catwalk. Yeah, yeah. And I didn't do that very well. I didn't want to do it. It was so I just would turn around quickly and then they'd all yell at me. Well, on that particular Yoji thing where he put the bells around, which was a beautiful idea, they started making mooing noises. So as if they were kind of alpine cattle or something. They were quite a tough lot. If you ever got in their way as a
member of the audience. Pretty much they tell you where to go.
Right.
Kind of rough lot. And then, of course, they go from show to show, and they'll be fighting for kind of pole position on a catwalk. So they're a kind of tricky bunch. And I don't think they exist anymore. I haven't been to shows for years.
I mean,
I guess it must be.
That's true. They're not really there.
But they're not. I mean, they're not in the same way.
You don't hear them yelling and being like, "Come on, turn around!" You don't hear that.
You don't
these days. But I don't do a ton of shows anymore. So, but that's true. Like, they're not really there.
And they would know the girls' names and they'd call out your name.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I just always felt like they didn't like me, you know.
I don't think they liked anybody. And did you have any, when you were doing a show, is the audience, are you aware of the audience at all?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because that's why you're there. So you know they're there, but you don't want to think about that either.
Don't engage.
No.
Right.
It's hard on the runway to not feel like you're really to feel alone up there, you know.
That you want to feel alone up there, or you don't want to feel alone up there?
Well, you want to sort of be in your own world and just be wearing the clothes and be able to show the clothes and walk. But it's hard to sort of focus on one thing and music helps.
Yeah. Kirsten, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been lovely talking to you. I shall now offer you to come down the garden and see my greenhouse and my
great.
Bedford badge.
I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thanks so much.